So it seems they run in circles around me. So it seems I am afraid of everything. So it seems I hold my head.
So we're here with Göran. He's the CEO of Idka from Stockholm. And he's here to talk to us about privacy, the history of privacy really almost, and all the sort of the big events in the past 10 years that's with this ad-based driven model, what it's taken the internet to. But he also wants to...
No, we started Idka because we came to the conclusion that the internet has gone totally wrong, and it has become the surveillance and the stalker economy that is threatening not only our privacy rights but also the whole democracy systems in the world. And we have developed, as I said, Idka because we want to give an alternative to people that doesn't want to live in this society anymore and want to have a place where they can share, talk, and friend with people without being used or their data will be sold. So you own your own data. You delete, when you delete, it's gone. What's on?
In that sense, 5-7 minutes, what about Idka? What are the one or two, maybe three things that you want people to know about Idka?
Yeah, that you should know that if you are on Idka, your privacy is protected, and the data is yours. Only the ones that you share with will see it, or the groups that you're a member of. Otherwise, there is no one that can share your data or see your data or mine your data or whatever. And if you delete something, it's gone. So it's absolutely private in the sense that you own the data, you own your information, and only the people that you are friends with or work with are seeing your data.
Well, I think you should talk about what we talked about a bit, where you at least your ideas of why Europeans were more sensitive or more sort of they understood this issue of privacy. And you talked about Germany.
That is. There is a history in Germany with since the World War II and the split up of Europe into the Eastern Bloc and the Western Bloc. And those people are coming from the Eastern Bloc. They know what surveillance means. And they've been tracked and traced and all their lives. And even they couldn't trust your best friend there. And the people that lived up in that or grow up in that society, they have another kind of sense of what privacy really means. And I think also, Germany has been driving the privacy question in Europe, and I think very much also comes from the fact that Merkel comes from Eastern Germany and she's been growing up in this environment.
Now, so what all the examples you gave me, the New York Times article, obviously China doing the social ranking system, and you said you had Facebook was doing a conference in Stockholm about privacy. You should tell that story too.
Particularly in the we that has been or in this privacy business, we have known this for long, but people generally hasn't been aware about it at all. And I think the biggest boost in terms of knowledge and information came with the Cambridge Analytica scandal that The Guardian, amongst others, revealed, where people really understood for the first time, I think, the broad population at least, how their own data has been used in influencing the election and the outcome of the election in the US. And that was such a concrete and serious example of how the surveillance economy are working and how they are changing or threatening the democracy in the world.
Yeah.
Analytical technology or method that's been used for other purposes before in terms of influencing population, in terms of weapons, and also weapon purchases, and like changing or influencing the population's mindset about things. So they
It's
were
very much a psychographic.
yeah, exactly,
study.
exactly.
Yeah.
And they were hired by the Trump campaign in the U.S. and they had collected a lot of information from the internet, from scrapers, from open sources, from public sources and so forth, about all people that were able to vote in the U.S. And the thing that came up as a more shocking thing was when a sister company to them developed a quiz app, a Facebook quiz app, and the questions was about your personality. So you got some sort of result about your personality at the end. So at that time, Facebook gave away user data to everybody that had Facebook apps. So that company got, I think it was like 275,000 downloads of the app, this quiz app. But that resulted in that they got all the friends of these 275,000 people's profiles on Facebook. So in total they got 85 million profiles on Facebook. And then that they put into this sociographic machine that they developed. And they could together with all the information they had, including this Facebook information, profile information, they had 150,000 variants of a message to a person, and they could determine with 90% probability how the person would react on the message.
Well, Pride was about the gathering of the data and then knowing what responses.
Yeah.
And what was the more sort of offensive thing that they did from that information? How did they get people to lean towards from both the Trump election and also the Brexit?
What they did was that people that were like they thought were not sure what they're going to vote for, whether they're going to go for Democrats or Republicans, they massaged certain messages to them, and in these 150 whatever variants of the message, and many things were lies, and to turn them over to the Republican side, and people that they thought couldn't be influenced to move to the Republicans. The strategy was then to try to get them not to vote. So that they had two strategies in this, and based on the sociographic analysis and all the information they had, they figured out what kind of messages would work for that person to move into a certain direction.
Yes.
I've been looking into this pretty much, and I would say that the main reason because of this is the ad-based business model that drives all this, and because the ad business model means you have to surveil as much as possible. The one that knows most wins the ad race. The way the platforms works promotes clicking and liking and sharing, and most of the things that people are sharing and liking is hate and bad stuff. So that spreads like an avalanche around the internet, whereas the good stuff is never seen. And that's how it works. So the whole now the fact that all of the internet is ad driven and ad revenue, that's causing all these problems.
Yeah, I think this whole term surveillance state is simply a descriptive way of describing a state or some entity that's surveying. But I think the whole point of it is, once you gather all this data, there's so much power into being able to manipulate people in the masses. That's the frightening part. The frightening part, of course, being surveyed is scary, but I think the deeper implication around that is how that information is used to manipulate a people for, for whatever that serves that power, that big centralized power. I think that's where the internet has become this incredible manipulative thing that, and it's served through the mobile phone. This thing in our hands that is constantly changing our minds about things that we don't know that our minds are being changed, right? Because these algorithms are so powerful in knowing when we're susceptible for certain things. We're susceptible, it may just be susceptible to buying a certain product at a certain location. But the mindset of the psychology is exactly the same as being susceptible and open at a certain point in time to changing your mind about or opinion about a certain candidate or a certain important issue that will have lasting consequences to daily life.